Alright, you are now thinking about your worst body part. Doesn't matter if it's your back, chest, shoulders, biceps, calves or something else. Because I will show you exactly how to finally grow that body part. You know, I could say that it's not your fault, but even if your genetics for that particular body part are below average, it still kind of is your fault. Because there is a ton of things that you can do to grow even the most stubborn body part. And that's exactly what I want to show you right now. The first thing that you need to pay attention to is the order of the exercises in your routine. You might think to yourself, order? That doesn't really seem that important. But you would be dead wrong, because the order of the exercises in your routine is one of the most important factors that should definitely not be overlooked. Imagine that you are trying to grow your calves, but every time you train them, it's at the tail end of your workout, where you are already super tired both physically and mentally. So when it finally comes that time in your workout, when you get to training your calves, all you want to do is just get it out of your way and go home. No thought, no effort, no concentration. And you don't need to be an expert to see that this will simply not build any muscle whatsoever. So the first order of business is to take the exercises for your problematic body part out of the depths of your workout and move it towards the top. Training your problematic body part at the start of your workout will make a really big difference. Your strength will be at its peak and you will be able to focus and have a much better mind-muscle connection than ever before. Sure, you have probably never seen someone train their calves or biceps as the first exercise in their workout, because it just seems really weird. But that just proves the fact that people are still completely unaware of how the order of exercises in your routine can completely change everything. You have to break away from what has been engraved in everyone's mind. You don't have to start every single workout with the bench press. Yeah, I get it, it feels like you are doing something naughty. But there really aren't any rules. You are sitting in the driver's seat, and you can, and you should do whatever you need to do to see gains. And if that means starting your workouts by training your calves, your biceps, or any other body part, then go ahead and do it. Because staying inside the crowd will make sure that you will never be able to step out of it. But this isn't true only for the smaller body parts that you usually leave until the end of the workout, like your calves or your biceps. The order of exercises is also important for the bigger body parts that you are already doing at the start of the workout. But for these body parts like the back, the chest or the shoulders, you need to realize something a little different. And that is the way these body parts interact with each other. The two biggest interactions you have to remember is between chest and shoulders and back and biceps. Because when you train one of these pairs in the same workout, they will heavily impact each other. So the body part that you put first will always be in a better position to get bigger, while the other one will slowly fall more and more behind. So what you need to do now is put your weaker body parts before your stronger ones, in order to bring them back. So when you look at these pairs again, you have to make a choice. What needs more of your attention? Is it your back or your biceps? And then again, what needs more of your focus? Is it your chest or your shoulders? Once you have the answer, order the exercises accordingly. So if you chose to put the priority on your shoulders, for example, then make sure that you are always doing your main shoulder press before doing any chest pressing exercises. Or in the most ideal scenario, you can try utilizing the Arnold split, which separates your chest and shoulder training completely, as they are each done on their own separate days, which will allow you to get the best of both worlds. Plus, I programmed the Arnold split and all the other training plans in a way that pays close attention to the order of the exercises, which means that each day is a little different than the other ones, which will make sure that you are getting a balanced development and that none of your body parts is falling behind. So if you would like to try it out, check the first link in the description. Well, once you reorganize your exercises, it will be much easier to actually grow the body part that you want. But that brings up a question. If you move some exercises towards the top, then something will naturally go down, right? And yes, that is correct. It's always a trait of some kind. You simply can't hyper-focus on every single thing at once. That's not how it works. You have to choose where you want to put your priority, based on your own body's strengths and weaknesses. But because you have already been clearly putting some of your body parts on the back burner, although you might have done it unknowingly, it's now time to make some conscious decisions to achieve what you actually want. Because once you give it a deeper thought, you will realize that putting your worst body part towards the start of the workout and your better body parts towards the end will not even be a problem. Because for your best body parts, you probably have such good genetics that you won't even notice the difference when you do them a little later in the workout. The last thing I want to note when it comes to the order of the exercises is that if you are still really new to the gym, I wouldn't really worry about this. You have a lot of other things on your plate right now and this isn't one of them. You still need to give it some more time before you start making conclusions. Now we can move on to the other very important thing that is needed to bring that body part of yours from the dead. And I'm saying very important because you will absolutely have to do this step, because what you have been doing has clearly not been working. This step is all about increasing the volume and the frequency. In other words, you should consider increasing the number of sets for that body part, or even add more workout days where you hit that body part. Even if it's something weird like starting your upper body workouts with calf raises, you should do it. But what you need to keep in mind is that when you increase the volume or the frequency, you need to do it gradually, because you need to make sure to not completely nuke yourself right away. For example, if you are now training calves twice per week, try to add them to one more workout and see what's gonna happen. Give it like a week or so, and if you are still able to handle it, feel free to increase the number of workouts where you train calves once again. What you can also do is to increase the number of sets that you are doing, because once again, doing just 3 sets of everything is not some kind of must-do rule. Feel free to crank that number up. So after some adjustments, your calf training regimen or any body part training regimen, remember this is just an example, could go from it being trained at the end of the workout twice per week for just 3 sets each, to being trained at the start of the workout 4 times per week for 5 sets in each workout. But as I said, you need to get to this point by gradually increasing both the volume and the frequency, as what I'm showing you here could be how it would look like in the end, after weeks of gradual increases. Which probably seems like a lot to you, but you have to realize that in order to really wake up a stubborn body part, you really need to give it your all. But remember that every body part is a little different, so while calves might be able to really take a beating and be trained 4 or 5 times a week, you probably won't be able to do the same thing for your chest. That's why the increases need to happen slowly, and you need to pay close attention to how your body responds after each increase. Which brings us to the next very important thing that you need to do, and that is tracking your progress. Because what most of the people are guilty of, and let's be honest, you are probably guilty of this too, is that when you are nearing the end of the workout and you start hitting your calves, your biceps, or whatever else happens to be there, you don't even count your reps, or even worse, you just grab a random amount of weight. It's really not hard to see that this kind of approach will leave you lacking. So you need to do one very simple thing. Try to treat these exercises you normally don't really pay attention to like you would treat the bench press. Transform it into a big occasion, instead of it being something you don't really pay attention to. Which means that you also write down the amount of weight you used and the number of reps you did. And then your goal is to get better and better every workout. That is the key. Just this fact alone will help you get that stubborn body part out of the gutter. And there is one more thing that I have to bring up that can make a very big difference. See, if you have been working out for a couple of years and you have been using the same exact exercise for that one problematic body part for the whole duration of your bodybuilding journey, it's now time to change it. You need to give your body a new stimulus and your mind something exciting. That's how you make it grow. It's a simple change that can make a massive difference. And that is pretty much all you need to know to finally bring up your worst body part. I hope you learned something. If you did, please consider subscribing and I will see you next time. Hey, check out this video. I'm sure it will help you out.